Everyone, welcome. My name is Erin Mote. I'm the Executive Director of InnovateEDU, and I'm so excited to have you join us today for what I hope is an exciting set of news and a webinar about the future of the EdTech Evidence Exchange. For those folks who are joining us live, do feel free to drop your questions in the chat. We'll be having a Q&A session at the end of this webinar. So with that, I'm going to get started. So if you haven't heard, but I think you have because you're here, the EdTech Evidence Exchange is now a project of InnovateEDU. We're a nonprofit that we hope will bring the experience of managing large-scale coalitions to affect ecosystem change to the work of the exchange. In this 30-minute webinar, we'll outline the next steps for the exchange as a project of InnovateEDU. If you have particular questions, as I shared, about the future of the exchange, or for any one of our speakers, please drop them directly in the chat. We're going to make sure to stay on time for a 10-minute Q&A session at the end of the webinar. And for those of you who are joining us in the recording, feel free to reach out to our email, which we'll also share at the end of the webinar. With that, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to my colleague, my friend, my collaborator, and fellow instigator, Bart Epstein. Bart?
Thank you, Erin. It's wonderful to be here and see everybody. For anyone who is not familiar with the exchange, this visual summarizes a few key points. If you start at the far left, you'll see that the EdTech Evidence Exchange is now a research-based project of InnovateEDU, and that the exchange team works closely with the UVA School of Education and Human Development. The exchange team aims to provide educators with data to help them make evidence-informed EdTech selection and implementation decisions. The exchange is working to make sure that the right technologies wind up in the right contexts, meaning school environments where they are most likely to be successful. The team is also focused on supporting implementation of technologies once they are selected, striving for more effective and equitable implementation. The exchange generates evidence and matches educators by using two surveys. The first is a survey that measures 10 key context variables that we collectively identified in the EdTech Genome Project as most likely to influence EdTech implementation success. Things such as professional learning and competing priorities. The second survey documents educators' experiences with specific technologies in their contexts. Currently, the exchange is focused on collecting experiences with math technologies. With these data, the exchange first helps schools and districts understand their own EdTech implementation context and the implementation experiences of their own educators. Once leaders develop an understanding of and comfort with their own context, the exchange can connect them to evidence from educators who work in similar school or district contexts in terms of their EdTech implementation. After founding the exchange and leading it for these last years, I am very excited to turn the reins over to Erin. I am highly confident that the exchange and InnovateEDU combination is going to be great for our ecosystem and will help hundreds of thousands of educators make far better decisions as they deploy billions of dollars of technologies in our schools. Erin, over to you.
Thanks so much, Bart. Your confidence, I think, in the merger is well placed. And you're right. The joining of our forces together is going to have a great impact for the ecosystem. InnovateEDU and the exchange are mission aligned. While the exchange focuses on one component of the broader InnovateEDU mission, helping educators use high quality evidence to select education technology that's a good fit for their context and to effectively and equitably implement those technologies to support student learning. Because of this mission alignment, InnovateEDU and the EdTech Evidence Exchange have been working closely together for many years. I think Bart knows me and the work of InnovateEDU before I had children, which now I have a 7-year-old. So you can see that's been many, many years. each serving on each other's steering committee for key projects, including the Exchange EdTech Genome Project and InnovateEDU's Birdie, the blueprint for inclusive research and development in education. I want to shout out so many of the Birdie steering committee members are on this call, and it's so great to see you. Most recently, we collaborated to design and plan for the creation of a federated data system of EdTech products, which we will share more about later in today's session. I'm so excited to hand it over to Christine Tomasik, who has recently joined as the InnovateEDU Chief of Staff and is the former Chief of Staff of the EdTech Evidence Exchange. Christine, take it away.
Thanks, Erin. Before we focus on what's next for the Exchange, let's take a quick look at what the team has done since it launched as a nonprofit in 2018. In 2018-2019, the Exchange formed partnerships with a school district and a charter school organization to begin exploring the context variables that appear to be associated with EdTech implementation and learning from educators. This also included conducting a large-scale systematic literature review to build out a list of important context features. In fall of 2019, the Exchange launched the EdTech Genome Project to identify, define, and then develop measurement instruments for the context features most likely to impact EdTech implementation. In order to match similar school contexts and help educators understand their own contexts, the work needed to not only identify the key variables, but quantify those variables. The Genome Project brought together over 144 stakeholders across 100 organizations and collected feedback from over 2,000 educators along the way. Shout out to all the genomers here joining the webinar. Simultaneously, the Exchange continued to refine data collection in partnership with 3 school districts, while also looking to understand the information educators want to know about an implementation. In the 2021 school year, the Exchange paused the majority of data collection given the influence of COVID-19 and focused on developing the EdTech Evidence Exchange platform and launched the platform beta in spring 2021. The Exchange platform is an automated data collection and display platform. Educators complete 2 surveys, as you heard Bart mention, one about their context and one about their experience implementing a specific technology. These data automatically populate user-friendly reports and match educators working in similar district contexts, putting evidence into educators' hands immediately. In spring 2021, we launched the Exchange platform beta. In the summer of 2021, the full EdTech Genome Project final report was released, which we're linking in the chat. This report includes definitions, both short and long versions, and measurement instruments for each of the 10 context variables. During the 21-22 school year, the Exchange partnered with 3 state-level organizations, Alabama State Department of Ed, the Utah STEM Action Center, and the Nevada Department of Education, to collect data about educators' use of math EdTech tools in contexts. Over this past summer, the Exchange worked to build the validation argument for the EdTech context inventory instruments and plan for the next round of Exchange platform development. The Exchange is continuing those efforts and launching the second Evidence Exchange cohort this year. I recognize that this timeline focuses on what we've done in the past. I also recognize that the point of today's conversation is to share with you what's next for the Exchange as a project of InnovateEDU, which is where we'll spend the bulk of our time today. I just had to give you the context before we get started. So, what's next for the Exchange as a project of InnovateEDU? At a high level, the Exchange mission and vision will remain the same during and after the transition to a project of InnovateEDU. These 5 bullets highlight the focus of the work over the next 2 years, working towards the mission of providing educators with the evidence they need to make informed EdTech selection and implementation decisions. Let's look at each of the aspects of the work. In addition to the original focus on matching educators working in similar contexts to learn from one another, the exchange will increase its focus on helping educators use their own data to understand and improve their own contexts and implementations in progress. The educators that the exchange worked with in the first evidence exchange cohort clearly expressed an interest to understand their own context first and then to learn from educators in other contexts. They're often interested in potential improvement efforts and understanding how their context compares to national norms. The team is also working on tweaks to the Exchange platform version 1 and planning for a version 2 development. V2 improvements are all driven by participant feedback and user experience testing. Several high-level changes are shown on the slide here, and the image shows specific educators' feedback that will guide revisions to the context report. Additionally, we will continue to work with the UVA School of Data Science faculty and a team of capstone students to improve the platform's matching functionality, identifying the variables that most differentiate between contexts.
Thanks. One of the V2 platform improvements is going to be integrating external data sources into the Exchange platform. This will be done through participating in a federated data system of EdTech product evidence. The coalition work to build a federated data system for EdTech product evidence begun by the Exchange will now be led by InnovateEDU. Maybe some of you were with us at ASU GSV when we did a great panel with our partners about this work. By integrating partner organization data sources into the Exchange platform, we will improve the platform's usefulness for educators. We're also eager to share data from the platform via other organization sites. Christine, back to you.
So the team is busy recruiting partners to scale up the work for this school year. The Exchange is partnering with the Virginia Department of Education and KIPP, Massachusetts to conduct data collection in the winter-spring of 2023. The Exchange also has an ongoing partnership with the National Council of Teachers of Mathematics to collect data from its members. In fact, that's where the Exchange research staff are today, running focus groups with NCTM members to get insights on what technology data NCTM members are interested in and how best to offer them access through their NCTM membership.
And it wouldn't be an InnovateEDU webinar if we didn't talk about collaborating across projects and across teams. So we believe that the evidence generated in the Exchange platform is only valuable if educators use it effectively to inform their decisions. To date, the Exchange's work has focused on identifying what evidence is needed, but the Exchange focus and capacity will now expand to support educators' use of evidence in decision-making and improvement efforts. A priority for our team will be the direct user testing and co-development with educators to ensure that supports meet educators' needs and leverage their existing structures. We love integrating into people's existing workflows. The Exchange will pilot support with a small group of leaders, focusing on systems that serve majority Black, Latino, and low-income students. This is an area of work where the Exchange team can collaborate with other InnovateEDU project teams, including Project Unicorn, that has the expertise in data coaching and collaboration and has partnerships with over 700 school districts. Through collaboration, these projects will leverage their expertise and lessons learned, identifying a core value of InnovateEDU, which is to 10x our impact as a nonprofit. So, to summarize, that's what's next for the future of the Exchange as a project of InnovateEDU. We're going to be increasing our focus on helping educators use their own data to understand and improve their own context and active implementation. We're going to be improving the Exchange platform. We're going to be integrating external data sources into the Exchange platform via the coalition building work that we just talked about. We're going to be scaling up data collection with state and association partners. And we're going to be supporting the use of educators' use of Exchange platform evidence. What that means, we're going to be pretty busy. We're really excited to be working with y'all and to partner with so many of you that are on this call. What questions do you have for us?
One has come up. I will read it out loud. How is the work with current steering committee members going to continue, if at all? If at all. And I think that's referring to genome steering committee members. So, Sarah, our plan is to continue to engage the genomers in the same ways that we have thus far as keeping people updated, as well as inviting opportunities for work and thought partnership when appropriate, in addition to sharing opportunities that come up because of the relationship that you have as a genome steering committee member. So we're not anticipating any major changes with that. In fact, the work will continue going forward. Let's see. Here's another, I've got questions coming in two places. So let's go to this one. So Rachel is saying, I'd like to help build teachers' agency in evaluating research. How will the EdTech Evidence Exchange continue pushing the national conversation and conversation in the press about evidence?
Yeah, that's a great question. So InnovateEDU has work in terms of both federal, state, and local education and advocacy efforts, where we're really pushing something that you might have seen me actually mention on LinkedIn, the age of evidence. And so we're so excited to join with a number of different partners, whether it's our partners through the EdTech Council, or whether it's our partners through the steering committee, or through partners through Birdie, where we'll continue to really lead education advocacy and communication efforts, both in national press, through opinion pieces, through op-eds, and really through engaging this robust group of stakeholders. I think the place we really want to grow is making sure that educator voices are at the center of this conversation, and that we're making sure that those feedback loops, both between policy, practice, and research, are really happening so that we can accelerate change faster and get to scale. I'm really excited about the work that we're doing to do even user improvement, to really, from not just in the words we say and the work we do, to have educators at the center, but to really put educators at the center of our user design and the experience that they're having with the platform. So don't worry, you'll continue to hear from many of us. And in fact, we're here to amplify and accelerate this movement in the age of evidence for EdTech.
So another question is, how is our work going forward being funded?
Great. Well, we're so excited to have the support of a number of philanthropic foundations, including a couple who are joining on this call today, the Overdeck Family Foundation and the Carnegie Corporation of New York. And so they'll continue to fund some of our work, as well as in some partnerships with different agencies and districts who might be beginning to ask us to come in and to help educate and deliver this type of evidence-based instruction in PD.
Here's another question from Yenda is asking, will you be collecting data on the pilot/launch itself to gather, quote, lessons learned for others who may want to amplify or replicate efforts down the line?
I'll say one thing, and then Christine, I'd love you to talk about the specific data. I think one big piece of how InnovateEDU really believes in punching above our weight in the space is sharing both good, bad, and ugly about what we experience when we go to implementation. And I'll just use our Birdie project as a great example, where we've put out case studies on the Birdie website, which share all the good, bad, ugly, the amount of context coverage, how the blueprint mapped against actual implementations. And I will tell you that that philosophy of transparency and really contributing to the sector conversation is a big part of what makes InnovateEDU, I think, a leader in the field. And we're excited to continue that. It's a tradition I know Bart, Christine, and the rest of the exchange team have also had. So this is really where that mission alignment, values alignment, and core work really lines up well. Christine?
Yeah, exactly what I would say, Erin. That's a pattern and practice of the exchange team and is something that we'll continue to do going forward. If you dig into the genome report, you can see the whole method was laid out. All the lessons learned were shared. We do that also to share information with the funders who support our work. So yes, Yenda, that is something that will continue to go forward.
With that, we'll go ahead and end the webinar today with gratitude and thanks for so many of you who are our partners in this work already. And for some of you who are just learning about the exchange and about InnovateEDU, come join us. We really believe in catalyzing this movement around evidence in education and education technology. And so come join the Age of Evidence. We're here, we're excited, and we can't wait to work with you. Bye, y'all.